So I have made a three-dimensional framing with two jack studs and one king stud. And it's framing for the doors, and it's within the actual door, the flush panel door. So it flexes. So it's 2x10 headers. Now I use let's take a look here real quickly. I use a 8'0" and 5/8 top of wall, and that means that I have 5/8 inch gypsum board as my ceiling. So I have left 1.5 inches for a top plate to go all the way across, but then I have my 2x10 headers and then a piece of plywood here to make up the difference, with a 1 inch gap here for deflection of my headers and a 7-foot opening. So I'm going to, of course, load this up to Revitcity so you can download it and use it. But when you insert the door into the project, the framing comes with it. And so you can flex it. We'll take a look. Flexing right now, I think it's at 6 feet wide. So I'll take this and flex it to width to be 3 feet. And you can see that everything flexes. So that is just simply part of the door. If you want to see that in your plan view, then you can. And if you don't want to see that in your plan view, well, of course, you can visibility graphics and turn off your structural framing, plain and simple. Now I like, let's see here. I like to frame my buildings so that if there's something that needs to be addressed, I'd rather address it in the comfort of a very nice office chair in controlled humidity, as opposed to being out of the job site where it's cold, wet, perhaps windy. Usually meetings on the job site because I need to help. I was going to say I made a mistake, but I'd rather say, I just need to have a conference with the carpenters as they're doing something. I'd rather figure out something in a comfortable environment, my office, as opposed to a job site. It's generally, get called out to the job site on those beautiful sunny afternoons where I'd like to be outside. So anyway, I like to figure it out ahead of time. So that's why I want to put my framing in for my doors, because it takes a long time to put these structural members in. And if it's already in there, it's already there. Yeah. That seems to be a good time saver. So we'll talk about it in a second, but you can see as I'm framing the project, beginning to frame this one, the doors, I should turn off the walls and my doors are already framed. I just put my bottom plates and my top plates in. And I also have a program that goes straight across and arrays my studs in at 60 inches on center. I have used another program called StructSoft, and I'll put a link to that down in the description. It's a wonderful program, very, very elaborate. And I was demonstrating Revit for a company in Boston. And as part of the 3 or 4 day, I think it was 4 days of training, I also showed them Structs off because it seemed, I demonstrated that for a day. And at the end of the fourth day, it's a big company, huge company, and they decided that not only were they going to transfer their workers from AutoCAD to Revit, but they were also going to buy Structsoft because they could really use it. And it's a wonderful program, but it doesn't, for me, it doesn't allow me to think. It just does it frames everything. You set the constraints and how you want your doors and windows set, and then basically it goes in, and I'll put that link down there, but basically that goes in and does it all. And I like to think about what's going on in my projects, and spending a little bit of time framing it makes sense. But anyway, you can see here all of my doors. This is a small house, but all of my doors automatically get their framing in there. It's pretty simple. And then I'll come back in and put my bottom plates and my top plates and frame it out. But what I was saying here is, here's the door. And really all I have is just added into that standard door the framing for it. And so you can use it if you want, more than welcome to. I'll load it up into and put a link. I'll load it to Revitcity, and I will put a link down there so you can use it. And you may need to modify it. Maybe your height is, your door heights aren't 7 feet. Maybe they're more or less. And so you can modify this. But basically, it's a simple family where you put some reference planes in, and you lock your various components into those reference planes, and then test it by flexing it, taking a look at your dimensions and your constraints here, and just determine what you want to check, test it out, see if it works. And the one thing is the visibility. I did turn the plywood header on and off. When I'm framing, that header gets in the way. That little piece of plywood gets in the way from me seeing in the floor plan where as I'm putting in my 2x4s at 16 inches on center. It makes it difficult for me to see because the header's above here, so I can't see them. I couldn't figure out any other way, even with the reference plane, the visibility, the view range, cutting way down here. I still was able to see that, so I just made it a yes/no visible feature, and then I can see this piece of plywood goes across these two, and I want my bottom plate to go to here, but I couldn't see that with that in the way. So anyway, that's just a personal preference. I just turned it on and off. Now, one of the things that I want to point out, some people have a little bit of difficulty is they say, well, we can't see the casing in our floor plans. And if you want to see, now here is the family, the door family. I just took our standard door family and put my framing in there, but you can't see the casing generally in a floor plan. So if you simply highlight this as an extrusion, go to visibility settings, and then you can say right here when you want to see it. So you can check that and say when cut in the plan, then you can see it. But now the other thing is that this is one extrusion and this is another extrusion. So you could actually set that up so that you could only see one extrusion or the other in the plan view if that's how you wanted it. So that's the secret, because this door comes with that unchecked in the Revit programs that, year to year, the Revit programs that I get, that's always been unchecked. So we want to check it. And then just simply load it into your project and use it. So I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. This is really just a really nice, I think it's a really nice time saver. Something that I want to do on my projects anyways. I want to see these, see how these are going to get framed, and if there's an issue about the framing, figure it out. Generally, I'll see it in this project. let's see. So you're seeing here the room separators here. That's all like that is. You don't want to see that in here, but that's yeah. Now this is only for 2x4 stud walls. Generally, the interior walls on my houses are 2x4s, but sometimes they're 2x6s. Even in this house, I have some 2x6 walls because they're 2 stories tall. So sometimes that happens. So I don't have this used enough yet to fine tune it. Once I fine tune it, then I'll go in and make one for the 2x6 walls, doors for the 2x6 walls. Not a big deal. It's pretty rare that happens anyway. But it does. All right. So anyway, another tutorial in a way. It's more just a hey, here's a nice parametric framing for the doors if you want to use it. Revitcity, and I'll put a link down at the bottom to that too.